Linda.
Okay, thank you. So just to give a little bit of a briefing, before we go into council business regarding the matter. Staff has put together, an application to the Provincial Capital Assistance Program. And part of the program is I'll need a resolution to approve the application that we're putting forward. We're putting forward an application to the development of our well field at McCallum's, if I say that right, McCallum's Brook. And part of this project is that we had been approached for some land acquisition. So we would get to own the land on our well field. And this will give us more coverage as per our source water protection plan. And so this would, the immediate would be for our zone 1, which is where our wells are located. So this is a good opportunity, and just wanted to give a little bit of history as to the type of application we're putting forward. So we're looking for a motion of council to apply for this provincial capital assistance program for 50% of the McGillum's Brook well field development.
Okay, thank you, Linda.
I move to approve the application to the Provincial Capital Assistance Program for 50% of the McElman's Brook well field, Oxford well field development project.
Do we have a second? Okay, moved by Councillor McNutt, seconded by Councillor Cannon-Sweet. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. Motion carried. That concludes everything that is on my list. So with that, I will, before I say anything, there's another meeting immediately following this one. It's our regular town meeting. So I will declare this special town council meeting adjourned. Floor is yours, Deputy Mayor.
I'd like to call to order. I'd like to welcome Mark Ruskin from Six Rivers and Jason Hahn.
Very good. Our municipal advisor.
Oh, and our
Mitch, she doesn't know Mitch.
Oh, and Mitch, yeah, Mitch Hannigan.
That's right.
Mitch Hannigan, sorry, I thought you were going to Jason.
Anyway, I need an approval
So moved.
I'll second it.
on any discussion. There's no discussion. Oh. Declare it. Approval of minutes. May 8th, 2024. Are there any errors or omissions? I declare the minutes approved as presented. Now I'd like to move on to the town departments. Public Works presents on the ground.
Thank you. So tonight, Nick Purdy had to send his regrets. He's the public works supervisor. And so I'm just going to share the report that I have here that's included in the package. So they, for the month of May, reported they had done some street sweeping, full patch potholes around town, shouldering on Main Street, installed speed signs on Pugwash Road, Birchwood Road, and Lower Main Street, cleaned well chambers. They finished ditching on 7 Lane Way. There was a water break on Crescent Avenue that needed attending to. They started Foundry Street ditching. And at our transfer site, they had to turn away 5 vehicles, non-town residents, in the month of May. There was a plugged sewer on Crescent Avenue due to a grease ball. We had a technician in to repair a valve for well number 4, and they installed new water line on Little River Road. Those are just a few of the highlights that was more on this report.
Podcast too.
No, I just want to make a note that there is a report inside your council package from our fire chief and deputy fire chief.
Second for the month, the public works, can I just say thank you to our public works guys as a parent of Brad, they did our banners again this year and out of the kindness of their heart, so thank you very much, they did an awesome job.
Very good. So the fire department, I'm not sure if you have the report there, but there's a report inside the account package. We didn't get regrets, but they must be maybe attending a fire or something. So I didn't have that ready for me today. So
It's in our.
it's in our council package though, and it's online. And so if I could move to 4.3.
Do you want me to read it right quick or?
Oh, do you have?
Yeah, I just have it right in front of
Wonderful, yes.
So over the last month, I will read it all, but just the bullet points here. Over the last month, the fire department responded to 9 incidents, 2 medical related calls, 1 in town, 1 in our coverage area, 2 structured fires assisting a neighboring department, 3 fire alarms, 2 in town and 1 in our coverage area, 1 call for tree on power lines, 1 small grass fire. Currently planning inspection for the rescue tools, which also life. They hosted information session responding to emergencies where natural gas may be present. We've had 13 members participate in a motor vehicle training extrication training. It took place on May 26th. Oh yes, and I'm sure they want everyone to know that they're hosting their annual horse polls at the back of the ball field on this Saturday. Yeah, Saturday, June 15th, starting at 10 a.m. Respectfully submitted, Chief, First Russian Deputy Chief Kyle.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor, not for the update and report for fire department. I'd like to move on to 4.3. Presented by Linda Blow.
Okay, so I have 2 reports here. We have the admin assistant. So I'm just gonna mention a few of the highlights. The report again is in the package. He had worked with myself and also the well, actually, in regards to the transfer station, we're looking for some information, some old information. So we had a process of FOIPOC, a request to the Environment and Climate Change to request a copy of some of the documentation related to the approval of our transfer station regarding our operation manuals and some things like that. So because it looks like they're asking for information that they should have copies of as well. So we just need to locate some of these items. Anyway, so we're working with that. They are working with us on that as well. As for the budget, he had worked with the senior accountant and myself regarding the preparation of the budget. There was taxes had to be prepared, a lot of work into getting those out. And also an updating of our water rates from the URAV into our tax software, which is TownSuite, and onto our website. Also had located, we have a town PA system, which is good to know. We, especially with Councillor McNutt, and also Mitch may find this handy as well with hosting some events, and found some of the cable in as well. So that was a good find. And it tested successfully. And we had to get rid of our old Xerox, and a new one has been installed as well and working well. So we have that, and then there's some projects I was working on. So I wanted to welcome Mitch Hannigan, has joined our team to assist us with as an interim IMPAL leader. We've been working with him to get some summer programming organized and to connect with the public. We are currently working through the evaluating process of our Boundary Street Utility Renewal Project. Bids are now closed for this project, and we are underway with our evaluations. Currently working on some grant applications, and we had to contract Gordon Balcom as the operator and direct responsible charge for the town of Oxford water supply, as well as we had to contract Len Van Tel as the operator and direct responsible charge for the town's sewer works treatment facility. These are mandated as per our approvals. And just to give you guys an update on our WaterCAD study, because we had expected it to be ready for the end of May, there is a delay. It will be the end of June is now the anticipated date. There's more data that needs to be collected. Our public works supervisor is working on that, as well as the upgrade of our SCADA machines. So those are just a few of the highlights going on from there.
Thank you for that. Reports, Linda. I'd like to move on to 4.4. The MPAL report presented by Mitch.
Yes, this table over here by Councillor Finn.
Hello, thank you. My name is Mitch Hannigan. I'm the interim MPAL for the town of Oxford. I am new to the position. I've only been in it for roughly about a month. So I'm still finding my footing, but I've been able to make connections with community, counterparts and kind of introduce myself that way and kind of be a sounding board for people in the community that have come through the doors and look for access to recreation. Some of the bigger things I've been able to start is organizing our Oxford Rec Soccer. We were able to add two age groups that we didn't offer last year, which I think is a success, which is our under 3 and the 10 plus. We've had great interest in our co-ed softball. That's going to go once a week for a 6 week, I believe 6 week period. As well as that, we also have a Pride craft event that's going on this week to celebrate Pride Week. We're hopefully that's well received. As well as excuse me. There's a couple things I've been able to organize and inventory the equipment and supplies that we have for Oxford Recreation. I was able to partake with the Communities in Bloom initiative and help plant trees and blueberries in our community. Some of our, as I mentioned, our ongoing projects are the soccer, the softball, as well as the community pride event. I have great plans for future projects if the community receives those well as everything else is submitted in my report. If there's any questions, I would love to answer them.
Soccer registration is tomorrow.
Yes, sir. 1:30 or 1 to 3 p.m. Debit, cash, and credit are available from 1 to 3 p.m. Also, we're doing it from 6 to 8 p.m. and that's going to be cash and check only.
And where at?
At the MPL office at Town Hall.
What's the cost?
$26.
26.
Yes, unfortunately.
As per our budget, we said 4% increase on all revenues.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Just debit, right? No.
Debit, cash, and check is what it
And
is.
debit's only available to that purpose section because it's not gonna be able to.
No debit,
Okay.
no.
Okay. Perfect, thank you.
Anyway, I would like to thank the council staff for their respective reports, and I would like to move on to number 5.
I need a motion to accept those.
Sure.
No,
You did before.
No.
yeah, should get a motion.
Okay.
I move those reports be accepted as submitted.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Are there any questions, discussion? If there's no question or discussion on the motion, I'll bring it to a vote. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Subject minded nay, motion carried. Now I would like to move on to number 5, council committee board report to Senate. And this is a lengthy list for Linda,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'm just gonna turn it all over to you, break down to 6.
All right, thank you. All right, so we'll start with the Accessibility Advisory Committee. We had our meeting, let's see here, that was Monday, May 27th. And so we had Julie Gleiser. She is our Municipal Accessibility Support Coordinator with the Association of Municipal Administrators. And she came in to present to us the audit tool and its advantages. So we talked about our audit tool handbook, as well as the town hall's audit. We used that as an example, which was submitted to us by Joe McDonald. So we had that, and we went through it line by line. It is a great tool. It measures a lot of things, and it gives you a different way of looking for accessibility and proper way to do an accessible audit on buildings. So we're going to use this toolkit and handbook. We are expecting Julie's going to come and do 2 audits with us, one at a facility as well as one is outside. We're using this toolkit to give us some more practice. So that's coming up here in June, actually. We don't have that. And unfortunately, with regret, I have to say we had a letter of resignation. Joe McDonald had decided to step down. She was our vice chair. So that going forward, we had an election for a new vice chair. It's a 1-year term. So Councillor Kenny has stepped up to the plate, and she's now our vice chair for the Accessibility Committee. So thank you for that. Then our Accessibility Committee had discussion regarding the municipal election vote that had happened here with the town council. How this came about, there was a concern that was addressed in actually the resignation letter from Joe McDonald was regarding the paper ballot election. It's difficult concerning accessibility. So they wanted, council to give reconsideration regarding the method of voting. To not just be paper, to consider accessibility for all. And so the committee had met and they actually made a motion for consideration. And so this would be a recommendation to council at a future council meeting. But it was moved by Amanda Purdy and seconded by Megan Marchant to recommend to the town council of the town of Oxford to reconsider the format for the municipal election, consider the hybrid. And it's estimated to be a cost of approximately $11,332.50. Using the hybrid model would allow for everyone to have the opportunity to vote, whether paper or electronic. So that's a consideration that this is going to go forward towards our council team for more discussion. So that being said, the accessibility committee also discussed a concern regarding our Water Street crosswalk. There's a concern that the crosswalk itself is too close to the bridge, and that where it comes up with such an incline, it's kind of dangerous, and they're looking for an extension down further. So they made a recommendation as well for council to consider, is to consider the purchase of amber lights at the Water Street Bridge crossings. So we'll bring that forward to a council meeting in June. I believe the 27th is our council meeting. It's Thursday night instead of Wednesday. We'll bring those forward along with some costs, and we'll talk with our senior accountant to see if we have that in our budget as well. So we'll take a look at that. We didn't make recommendations. And so that is it for the accessibility advisory committee. Any questions on that report? We're gonna move on. So Communities in Bloom had a fun meeting. We met on June 6th. We enjoyed a night of planting apple and cherry trees along with blueberry bushes. We also found a great deal on some rain barrels and had located those in 3 different locations as well. So you have a bucket in your hand, just dip your bucket and water our plants. That would be very helpful. Also, we have a fun contest going on called Plant the Town. I'm not sure if you've seen these flyers going around. They're up and about. You can actually scan with the QR code and enter in for enter in. How do we do this? Let's see here. Show us how you're making your front yard or store front beautiful this summer. Plant the Town. Submit your photo to be entered to win a bundle of perennial herbs and flowers for your home or business. So you can enter by scanning that QR code, and it does work. Or you can use the website, Plant the Town. So submissions will be open until the end of the first week of summer, June 27th, with winner announced on June 28th. I would like to know if I did that QR. It's Ashlyn Burnell. She's one of our members. It wasn't me.
Question. Someone is not computer savvy or running around
They
with
can
the,
come to town.
they can come with the town hall and
Yes,
register for it as well.
Absolutely, we would help them with that. Yes, absolutely. So that's what I have for Communities in Bloom. If there's no
It was
questions.
beautiful, by the way, the trees over at.
Seniors go first. It was fun. There's a lot of her shoveling. Yeah. Rock down below. It was good. All right, so 5.3 is the audit committee report. And so the audit committee had met, and unfortunately we had a letter of resignation from Joe McDonald. And with this resignation, though, causes a vacancy in our committee. And it is required for us to have that, it's mandated to have that filled with public at large, member here in Oxford. They could be outside of Oxford, but with interest of Oxford. The committee has agreed that it's a difficult position to fill. The position should be filled by someone with financial expertise who can understand budgets and financial statements. So if there's anyone interested out in the public to please apply to the audit committee. We are interested and we'd like to fill this position. So there was direction from the committee for myself to get this advertised for applications to fill the vacancy in the audit committee. with a preference for candidates to possess some kind of financial expertise.
And it's only 3 meetings, so
Exactly, three,
not-
it's
it's not a heavy volunteer.
yes. So another item of the discussion, the audit committee discussed the terms of reference and updates to consider. And so there was a recommendation by the committee to align the audit committee terms of reference to the MGA. So we are going to revise that and give that to our committee to revise and then present it to council, hopefully at our September meeting. So so there's a meeting going to be planned in September 2024 to review the management letters from the auditors and at the time draft terms of reference as well. So that's an update from our audit committee.
If I may, could I back up just for 1 second?
Yes.
Communities in Bloom. Who has anything to do with those boxes that were built for planting vegetables?
We will be here.
Okay,
Yes.
there's a lovely crop of weeds at Little River now, I understand.
That's actually, I think they're expecting that next week. They're gonna be doing some work on the Little River one, but yeah, it's just a lot of volunteers required to, there's a lot of money for that.
Just, if it's gonna be like that, it's better to take it out. It's just a mess.
Yeah, well, actually, some of our boxes are actually in major need of repair as well. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, thank you. So moving on, we have our Cumberland Region Solid Waste Management Report. She submitted 2 reports. One had just missed our committee of the whole prior. And this one just got in time, so that worked out great. So I'll mention her April report. There's discussion regarding her Earth Day initiatives. She talks about community cleanups and school cleanups, and actually we had a fun one here in Oxford, which went over really well, some great submissions. And actually, so a lot of great initiatives there. Also, she announced that, let's see here, staff had once again participated in the Agriculture Safety Day held at the Oxford Arena. There was approximately 280 grade 4 students from schools across Cumberland County that participated in the event, where staff spoke about the importance of source separation. So that was an effective day. In her May report, she talks about the HHW, which is Household Hazardous Waste Events. And they held their first one of the year. It was held on Saturday, June 1st. The event was a blitz event where the household hazardous waste materials were collected from Carsborough, Pugwash, Oxford, and Spring Hill. Staff were pleased with the turnout for this event as we collected materials from 149 residents. Also there's a shred event. Sometimes we get calls about these shred events, so public are interested in this, but the shred event is scheduled for Thursday, September 5th from 9 a.m. to 12 noon at the Amherst Fire Hall. And also EPR for batteries, lighting, and additional electronics. The electronics program has now expanded to include items such as hair dryers, vacuums, clocks, coffee makers, and etc. So there's a full list of acceptable products and drop-off locations, and there's a website called recyclemyelectronics.ca that you can check that out too for those information. Any questions on those 2 reports there? No. We actually had our meeting, Councillor McNutt and I attended the Cumberland Central Landfill Community Liaison Committee. And that being said, I just wanted to put out there's an outstanding that we're looking for public at large, preferably a commercial owner that would be interested in our initiatives. It could be anywhere in Cumberland County, doesn't have to be Oxford. So we meet twice a year. That's it. It's not a large, great location, great parking. Yes, great parking, great location, nice big space. So
Transfer station?
no.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, girl, yes. So anyways, yeah, they gave it was great. So just 2 times a year. So they did stress that they would like it to be a commercial industry volunteer to join the committee because we need that kind of expertise. But they must be residing in Cumberland County. One of the main issues is coming out of this is that items are still not being sorted properly, not just by a few things seem to get hidden in the recyclables, and one item that they showed us, and there's a picture of it in our agenda, it's like a compressed, canister.
Oxygen.
Yeah, oxygen or something.
Was pop, making pop, gonna make your own pop.
It went down the recycling line, which is
Not
how
at the right place.
yeah, it was health and safety issue, right? So items like that needs to attend one of our HHVAC events, the household waste events, to get properly dispose of those. Those should not be disposed in our landfill or on a recycling line where the staff are working with. So also just to let everyone know, I'll remind everyone, we did have them, which is GFL. They had it's called Green for Life Environmental. They own the landfill out there, and they met with us back in 2023. So anyway, just wanted to update. We did have that meeting, and that's it.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Linda, for the committee reports, board reports, respective reports. I'd like to move on to item number 6, discussions and correspondence presented by Mr. Bloom.
Thank you. So this email went out to everyone. All council are invited to the AGM for the Cumberland Business Connector. So just wanted to let everyone know that it's coming up next week, June 19th from 6 to 8 at the Amherst Golf Club. And there's a meal involved, sit down meal. They're just kindly asking everyone that's interested, all you have to do is click on that link. It's in your inbox for council. So that's the one item of correspondence that I have shared.
Well, before I call for an adjournment, I'd like to let everybody know that this is the last regular scheduled meeting for the committee of the whole until September 11th, 2024. Wish everyone a safe and healthy summer. Whereas there is no further business to discuss, I declare this meeting adjourned.